German government has confirmed more than $1 billion in development and aid for Namibia. A statement by the German government recognizes the genocidal killings carried out by colonial settlers against the indigenous people in the first years of the 20th century. Germany's Foreign Minister Heiko Maas says his country bears historical and moral responsibility for the atrocities. Maas says he would ask forgiveness from Namibia and the victims' descendants. German colonial forces eliminated over 80% of the Nama and Herero people's population. Between 1904 and 1908, the Herero and Nama were forced into the desert. Those who were found trying to return to their land were either killed or put in concentration camps. Historians have called it the forgotten genocide. Let's cross to Frankfurt, Germany, where Ryan Thompson is standing by for us. Ryan, can you tell us more about this declaration by Germany?
Hi there. Well, the view from Berlin is this is a much-deserved gesture for immeasurable suffering. Those are the words of Heiko Maas, the German foreign minister. You were just saying some of them there. The biggest thing to come out of this is it's not just recognition by Germany of a conflict, but recognition by Germany of a formal genocide that had been committed in Namibia by German forces. And it comes with a pretty significant payout, over $1.3 billion to be paid out in the next 30 years to support projects in infrastructure, healthcare, and really to right the wrongs that Germany feels it has done here. Negotiations between Namibia and the German government to get this type of deal on the table have been going on for over 6 years, and they have been contentious at times. The 9th round finally took place in early May, and they were able to reach an accord with the German government, bringing their first offer to the table, this $1.3 billion plus the recognition of the genocide. All in all, this has been a long time coming. It's been over 100 years since German forces committed these atrocities in what was a German colonial state at the time, known as German Southwest Africa. The first recognition that anything significant of that type of atrocity had actually happened didn't happen until 2004, so we've made a lot of progress in just over 15 years here.
Right, so and like you said, it's been a long time coming, so what happens next now?
Yeah, so they finally have this deal on the table. It's been in negotiations for about 15 days since the German government presented it. It seems that the president of Namibia and the parliament have accepted it. Now they will have to go to the drawing board and ratify it in early June. And once they do that, they'll be able to figure out how to exactly divide up this money between these two ethnic groups, the Herero and the Nama. But interestingly enough, local media in Namibia is reporting that they are not happy with the terms of this first deal. They want to reject it altogether, and they say that the president and the parliament have been too eager to accept it, and in doing so, they're getting in bed with the devil.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much for that. Ryan Thompson live for us there in Frankfurt. Now let's bring in Tali Nates, founder and director of the Johannesburg Holocaust and Genocide Center in South Africa. Thank you very much, Tali, for your time. What is the significance of this admission by Germany?
Thank you, Penina, for having me. Recognition is really important. We just saw it a month ago when President Biden recognized the Armenian atrocities during the First World War as genocide. And this step by Germany is of enormous importance. Of course, the word genocide did not exist in 1904 when these atrocities happened. So looking at events that happened before the invention of the word, before the invention or the passing of the international law in 1948 in the United Nations is really important, not only for the people themselves that are alive now, but for the memories of those that perished, for their families, and for the entire nation. To say that our suffering, our pain is recognized and not, put aside and say, well, it was a war and things happen. So it is a brave, courageous move, and I think that it is of utmost importance.
Tali, like you said, back in 1904, the word genocide didn't exist. It's been over 100 years since then. Just give us a bit of a background on the crimes Germany committed in Namibia.
So we don't speak so much about the colonial crimes. You know, it is a subject that is starting to emerge in the last years. And of course, Germany came late into the colonial game. Only in the late 19th century, they sort of went into colonial territories in Africa, maybe Cameroon of today, Togo, Tanzania of today, but of course Namibia, and they controlled their territory until they lost the First World War, and then it moved actually to South Africa. South Africa controlled their territory until 1990. That crime that happened in 1904 is on many levels a very, very important crime, international crime to recognize, because not only there was a targeted, what is genocide? Genocide, of course, is the intent to destroy a people. So there was a targeting of men, women, and children, of the Herero people and of the Nama people. And it does not matter if you succeed to eliminate everyone. 65% of the Herero people were killed. That is absolutely enough. The intention was to kill each and every Herero person. Of the 80,000, about 65,000 were murdered. The Nama people, about 10,000, 50% of the Nama people. And they were killed in concentration camps, in the desert, by poisoning the wells, for example, of drinking water in these very, very difficult conditions. And what more, that killing was denied. So genocide was denied, which is very significant to the people in the 100 years since then.
And so now, 100 and roughly, I think about 17 years later, Tali, we've got Germany trying to right those wrongs you've talked about. And they have this deal of $1.3 billion to be given out to Namibia for development. They say, is it enough?
It's a first step. Always when you recognize genocide, what is of utmost importance is recognition, saying, you know, we did wrong, apologizing for the crimes. And then, of course, coming to terms with the crime. And reparation will be in education. You have to educate about it. It's not only about money. It is in memorialization. Do we build museums? Do we have memorials? For example, in Shark Island, there's nothing really to remember what happened. We need to do that. And then, of course, supporting the descendants of the Herero and Nama people, and supporting Namibia to remember and become stronger from this tragedy. And of course, the relationship between Germany and Namibia are of utmost importance. Let's build it as part of this program that was just launched.